In the heart of the bustling city, nestled among the towering skyscrapers and neon lights, stood an old department store with a storied past. For years, rumors had circulated about strange occurrences within its walls, but nothing could prepare the employees for the horrors that lurked behind the pristine facade. One fateful night, as the clock struck midnight and the last lingering customers departed, the department store fell silent, its empty aisles bathed in the glow of flickering fluorescent lights. Yet, amidst the stillness, a sense of unease hung heavy in the air, as if the very walls themselves were alive with secrets. As the night wore on, the lone security guard patrolling the dimly lit corridors noticed something unsettling, a mannequin that seemed to have moved from its designated spot. At first, he dismissed it as a trick of the light, but as he continued his rounds, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched. Meanwhile, in the women's clothing section, a young sales associate named Sarah was busy tidying up the displays when she heard a faint whispering coming from the rows of mannequins. Frozen in fear, she watched in horror as the lifeless figures began to twitch and contort, their plastic limbs bending in unnatural ways. Frantically, Sarah backed away, her heart pounding in her chest as the mannequins turned their glassy eyes towards her, their painted lips curling into sinister smiles. With trembling hands, she reached for her phone, desperate to call for help, but to her horror, she found that it was dead, the battery drained inexplicably. Meanwhile, in the men's department, the security guard's sense of unease had escalated into full-blown terror as he witnessed the mannequins come to life before his very eyes. With a shaky hand, he radioed for backup, his voice trembling with fear as he described the impossible scene unfolding around him. As the minutes ticked by, the once orderly department store descended into chaos, with mannequins roaming the aisles like malevolent spirits, their silent footsteps echoing through the empty halls. Terrified employees barricaded themselves in back rooms, their frantic prayers falling on deaf ears as the nightmare unfolded around them. Just when it seemed that all hope was lost, the first rays of dawn pierced the darkness, casting long shadows across the deserted department store. With the light of day came an eerie calm, and as quickly as it had begun, the nightmare came to an end, leaving behind nothing but shattered illusions and traumatized souls. In the days that followed, the department store remained closed, its once gleaming facade now a haunting reminder of the horrors that lurked within. And though the truth behind the mannequins' mysterious movements remained a mystery, one thing was certain: some secrets were never meant to be uncovered. A year later, the department store remained a desolate shell of its former self, shunned by the city's residents who whispered tales of the haunting night when the mannequins came to life. Despite attempts to reopen, the store stood abandoned, its once bustling halls now echoing with eerie silence. Yet, even in its solitude, the department store could not escape the lingering presence of the supernatural. Late one night, a group of urban explorers ventured inside, drawn by the allure of the store's dark history. As they crept through the empty corridors, their footsteps muffled by the thick layer of dust that coated the floors, they felt an overwhelming sense of dread wash over them. The air seemed to hum with a malevolent energy, as if the very walls themselves were alive with unseen forces. As they reached the women's clothing section, they stumbled upon the mannequins, their lifeless forms arranged in a haunting tableau. But as they drew closer, they realized with growing horror that something was terribly wrong. The mannequins were moving once again, their plastic limbs contorting in unnatural ways. Panic surged through the group as they fled for the exits, their terrified screams echoing through the empty halls. But no matter how fast they ran, they could not escape the relentless pursuit of the mannequins, their silent footsteps growing louder with each passing moment. Just when it seemed that all hope was lost, the group stumbled upon a hidden staircase leading down into the bowels of the building. With no other options left, they descended into the darkness, their hearts pounding with fear as they prayed for deliverance from the nightmare that surrounded them. As they reached the basement, they discovered a hidden chamber filled with ancient artifacts and forbidden relics, each one more ominous than the last. Among them stood a single mannequin, its glassy eyes gleaming with malevolence as it reached out with its plastic hands, beckoning them closer. With a sense of growing dread, the group realized that they had stumbled upon the source of the department store's curse, a cursed mannequin imbued with dark magic and ancient evil. And as they stood frozen in terror, they knew that they had become entangled in a battle for their very souls. But just as the mannequin prepared to strike, a blinding light pierced the darkness, banishing the shadows and dispelling the malevolent forces that had plagued the department store for so long. With a triumphant cry, the group emerged from the depths of the building, their bodies battered but their spirits unbroken. As they stepped out into the cool night air, they knew that they had faced their greatest fear and emerged victorious. And though the department store would forever remain a haunted memory, they took solace in the knowledge that they had reclaimed it from the darkness once and for all.
Don't forget to subscribe for more exciting content.